This woman is fat. Also, she is a teacher. Here's what she was doing at a protest.
Hey, you ever heard of Ozempic, you fat ass?
This is her celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk and hoping probably that other people get killed too. This is a teacher. This is teaching your children. This is a threat to society and life itself. This isn't cancel culture getting her fired from her job. This is a public safety hazard. This is someone that should not be in the teaching field whatsoever. This is someone that shouldn't even necessarily be accepted in public life. Gorlog the Destroyer became Gorlog the Destroyed. So if you want an update on the lore of this individual, it turns out this woman was a teacher at the Chicago public schools. Why is it always teachers? Great question. And you know what Chicago public schools ended up doing? Well, they shut down their entire internet presence. This is before, and this is after. Website under construction. Please check back soon. Now, I wanted to talk about teachers today because essentially the left is a vampire cult where essentially they can't reproduce themselves. Think about it, right? They're telling their women to abort their children. They're telling women not to get married. They're telling women to get careers instead of marriages. They're telling men not to approach women. They're trusting essentially every single allegation, whether it's true or it's false. So how do they grow if they can't breed? Well, they want your children. So the real question is, how do they get to your children? And today we are going to be looking at the epidemic that is school teachers essentially existing to groom you and your children. This is a very evil, dark rabbit hole that I wanted to go down for a long time, and we're finally doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, lock in. I hope you're ready. Evil cannot create. It can only corrupt and destroy. And that is what we're looking at right here, baby. And people are noticing, and these teachers are all getting fired. They fought too close to the sun, and now they're foeing. So let's see what we got. Here is a teacher at the Obsidian Middle School celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination. Welcome to the trenches. These people should not be teaching kids. These people shouldn't be accepted in public society. Glorifying political violence like this. It's unreal.
Hello, my name is EJ. I teach elementary general music to students from kindergarten through 5th grade. And my students call me Maestro. But here are all the things in the last week the students have called me instead of Maestro. A 5th grader called me Maestro Baddie. There's various 5th grade girls who really love to hype me up, and it made me feel great. I said I can be Maestro Baddie, absolutely. In a similar vein, but a little more uncomfortable, we have Pookie Maestro. So that was unique. I'm non-binary, and
yeah, we know.
I just have one name, Maestro, as a teacher. But I do get called Miss Maestro and Mr. Maestro in the same vein. I don't love it, but I get that
she wants no pronouns. Both Mr. and Mrs. are misgendering because this is a non-binary. She has no genders. So, despite the fact that she looks like a potato, and I would call you Potato Maestro, this is crazy.
Confused. We have a lot of English language learners at this school. I'm not going to be that mad about Miss and Mr. Maestro. Bro, have been called bro multiple times. I do sometimes address children as bro, so I personally don't hate it. I regularly call my classes goobers. I'll say, hello goobers, how are you doing goobers? So I was called goober and goober maestro. Kindergartner, I don't think English is his first language, addressed me just as music, nothing else. Saw me in the hallway, said, hey music, and period. He got right to the point. And then the last one is 6'7" Maestro, to which I replied, if you call me 7 Maestro, I will take 6-7 minutes of your recess time.
So anyway, this is teaching children. This is someone that is here to teach your children. If this isn't grooming, I don't know what is, man. This is crazy. And now you wonder why there's like rates of, essentially these rates of kids that castrate themselves, man. What's going on? What's going on? This is a real cult. This is crazy. Anyway, here's another transgender non-binary teacher showing off some epic sauce. So this guy sucks. This guy absolutely sucks, man. Here's things in my classroom. The comm section of the classroom. Like, bro, this is crazy. All right, here's another one. Man at a No Kings rally urging people to kill ICE agents.
You gotta grab a gun. We gotta turn around the guns on this fascist system. These ICE agents gotta get shot and wiped out.
These ICE agents gotta get shot and wiped out.
The state machinery, that's a full display right there, has to get wiped out. You gotta...
This guy is telling people literally to go shoot ICE agents. He is a college professor. Dude, what are we doing? What are we doing, guys? What is happening? How is this epidemic in our schools? Right, here's another one. Guy works at a college.
Well, you know, Jesus did it, so you know I gotta do it, right? Jesus did it. Oh, yeah. Thanks, guys.
Just vandalizing random shit. Like, these people are unhinged. They shouldn't be, not only should they not be respected in public life, in public society, but quite frankly, these people especially should not be teaching kids. Right, here's another one.
So today is the first day of school, and I am so excited. I love having signs all around this classroom of mine, but I am hanging this sign today in my classroom. Fascists fear teachers. Now, I teach high school social studies, world history and U.S. history, and throughout history, the first group of people that fascists have attacked are educators. They fear educators, fear students growing up with free thoughts and with critical thinking and not being indoctrinated into their beliefs. That's the biggest fear of fascists. And this,
you literally have a pedophile flag on your shirt.
This is the perfect poster. So today.
So anyway, again, this is basically saying these people are fascists. Brainwash them while you're young. Like, this is a history teacher telling you that everyone in the country's a fascist. Like, this is insane. Like, it is absolute insanity that we need to play this game. Bro is probably a communist too, and he's explaining to you why fascism is bad. Like, also he's bald. What a nightmare. Nightmare combo, for real, for real. But, like, this is crazy. This is absolutely insane. Like, this is an actual indoctrination cult in society. And it's really messed up. So, Think Before You Sleep just made this video. They aren't hiding it anymore. And they're not hiding it anymore. The teachers are literally out running around, ruining children's lives, manipulating them and convincing them things. Because the reality is, these people suck a lot. And they're here to steal your children and morph them into their homunculus that they prefer themselves. It's insane. It is absolute insanity that we need to make believe it's even remotely normal. And quite frankly, it's not normal. And we need to fight back. And these people are trying to destroy us.
What fascism looks like in our schools. It's when teachers are told, don't talk about racism, don't talk about gender, and absolutely do not talk about equity.
Mrs. Harris, this is...
Fascism is when you tell your teachers don't show porn to children and convince them to castrate themselves. That's fascism, guys.
Kindergarten, aren't we supposed to be learning numbers and shapes today? You know she's not in a fascist country because she comfortably says all this on camera, which you could not do in a fascist country without being jailed.
If teachers can't teach real history, if we can't challenge injustices,
what the hell is
stop being...
The hell is real history? Dude, you're a kindergarten teacher. Teach them colors and shapes. Teach them the alphabet, man. What are we doing? These are the people that are showing people assassination footage on repeat.
Places of learning, and they start becoming...
All right, let me teach you some history, because I'm sure she's talking about equity and racism. So let me teach you about history. Historically, only 2% of Americans ever owned slaves. So making this whole slave shtick, it really doesn't fly. That's one thing. Another thing that's important to remember is all the slaves that were in America, they were actually sold by black people. So the real slavers were black people that sold the slaves to the Americans, which was 2% of Americans. So I think that we should start there. What do you think, guys? I think we should start there. I think we should talk about how America is so awesome for freeing the slaves, whereas so many nations around the world that didn't happen. But America specifically did have that happen. So I think that's pretty awesome.
Places of control.
There are plenty of ways that school conditions kids to be easily controlled pathologically, but those aren't it. What is this chick even talking about? You can literally see pictures of letters, rectangles, and numbers.
Like 12, 13, 14, circle, rectangle. We have to teach them about fascism and gender. Bro.
On her wall, which means her class is very young. What business does politics have in a place where kids aren't even old enough to read? I mean, is she going to say it's fascism because you can't teach sex ed to 5-year-olds too? Well,
correct. You get them while they're young. That's the plan. They're vampires. I'm done playing this game. I got canceled for calling them vampires, which is why I'm doubling down. It was really fun. We're doubling down. They're vampires, man. They can't breed, so all they can do is corrupt, bro. That's the strategy.
Kind of already did. But these people will call anything fascist.
True.
Meanwhile, they'll stay
Anything I don't like is fascist. Everyone I don't like is Hitler.
silent on or approve of people getting arrested for calling themselves retarded.
I was told I would either be arrested or I had to turn up for interview under caution, was because on my Katie's Arms, I called myself a spaz.
No.
And I got arrested effectively by British
That's fascism. You got arrested for calling yourself spaz?
police because that's offensive. I'm waiting to find out if I'm going to be charged against the Online Communications Act.
You see that? That's a real instance of authoritarian censorship.
Oh my
and there are
God.
many examples of this in England. There's a whole world of difference between being arrested for saying that you're a spaz and your principal kindly asking you to spend more time teaching kids to count and less time teaching them bullshit like systemic racism.
Here's the reality, you all.
Why do we get so many of her? This is crazy.
Educators isn't about protecting our students or protecting children. It isn't about us indoctrinating children in a classroom with our political beliefs or our own personal agendas. It is 100% about protecting fascism.
That's strange because it completely sounds like it's about all of those things while at the same time having nothing to do with fascism. What's wrong with just giving kids the tools to learn and letting them figure things out on their own? That's what good teachers do. Well, that's kind of the point, right? These aren't good teachers who have their students' best interests in mind. These are ideologically possessed useful idiots who are seeking to convert, and elementary school kids are the perfect victims because they're a captive audience who legally have to be in the classroom, and kids don't have any life experiences or know anything. So it's easy to get them to believe whatever you want without any sort of pushback. The fact that she wants to teach gender ideology to 5-year-olds is insane. Sorry, 7-year-olds. I just found this parody video where she talks about teaching 2nd grade.
His name,
Bro.
Abraham Lincoln.
Every time.
Bro, there was no way. There was no way there was actually a fucking thing. No! No! You heard the smoke detector beep, right? You heard it, bro. There's no way. All right, listen to the background. Listen.
Abraham Lincoln.
Bro, I didn't add that. There was actually a ceiling bird, bro.
Every time. I feel like it's impossible.
They call it the African ceiling bird. You find it rarely in the wilderness.
To cover a black person on TikTok without hearing a smoke detector that needs a battery replacement. And no, I did not edit the beep in.
I know y'all been worried about my smoke detector. I made them change the battery. It's still beeping. It's nothing else I can't do. It ain't, I can't make it stop beeping. I can't do nothing. It's just gonna beep on and on.
Anyway, personally, I think it's a special kind of evil to teach children useless ideology that will screw up years of their lives just to make yourself feel important like this teacher is trying to do. Especially when it's evident that the person in question is just repeating talking points that she heard on CNN or whatever, rather than perceptions that were found through hard work, research, and self-reflection. I don't think she really understands what authoritarianism is because she wouldn't unironically repeat the talking points of the most oppressive groups in the country who would have you arrested for misgendering people.
No, dude, obviously this is a lie. Like, I love how Think Before You Sleep always, like, takes this super seriously, you know? Like, he always takes it seriously and he breaks it down in a really, really good way, and that's why I love his videos. But, like, it's such an obvious lie. Authoritarian government would arrest you for talking against an authoritarian government. If it was really a fascist regime, they would arrest you for talking against the fascist regime. Like, it's obviously fake. Like, that's why this is such a joke. It's like the No Kings protests, protesting that there shouldn't be a king, when there is no king. If there was a king, you couldn't have a No Kings protest. They manipulate language in, like, this evil way to trick you and convince you that you're actually in danger when you're really not, because it's all fraud.
People.
How does that law force XXXY to use pronouns? Like in their advertising, in their corporate offices?
If they are interacting with a customer and the customer says, this is my preferred name and these are my preferred pronouns, this is the way I want to be addressed, there is a legal obligation to do that. They're compelled to use those pronouns and those
That's authoritarianism.
surnames under.
You are gonna force my speech when I don't have free speech anymore? You're removing my constitutional right of freedom of speech because a lady fucking wants to be called man, or a man chopped his penis off and now I have to call him woman? Are you insane?
Colorado's law. And the real kicker is there are criminal penalties for it.
Oh, that's a great kicker. That's a really great kicker. Well, I go by Lord Nuxanor, and if you call me anything other than that, I will sue your ass.
You can have prison time, jail time.
Look how excited she is. the classic white liberal woman, classic white liberal woman, gleefully thinking about throwing people in jail for using the wrong pronoun, or the correct pronoun, some would even say. Do you understand how evil this is? Oh, bro, they literally want to deport, like, illegal alien criminals that break into this country illegally. They want to put them back in their homeland where they came from before they broke into this country. All right, do you understand that? Do you understand? They're protesting that. They're attacking police officers for that. But they would gleefully grin at the idea of throwing you in prison for life for going against their thoughts and saying, how dare you call him her when clearly he has a mandina.
4 months.
This isn't a new stance. They've been preaching criminal penalties for misgendering for like a decade. And considering our elementary school teacher's prior comments about gender and the fact that she has pronouns in her bio, I can almost guarantee that she would approve of people being arrested for speech that she finds offensive, despite being mad about what she calls censorship. I've watched enough people approving of Charlie Kirk's murder to know that this archetype of person has no idea what the term free speech means.
I mean, to be fair, you could tell that this person has so much empathy when she cheers for Charlie Kirk's assassination because she has a Palestine flag in bio, which means she's just a superior human.
And they thought police each other like crazy, so they all believe the exact same things, to the extent where they will support movements that are completely contrary to their personal beliefs because the group supports them. For example, we have...
I love the queers for Palestine. Can I show you? Listen, Bibi Netanyahu, he's not like, he's not a guy that normally has zingers that actually pop off, all right? I'm not gonna lie. However, he had a line that he said one time that was just so fucking insane. I have to show it to you, man. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I didn't even realize, but this was Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk posted this. Oh my God, Charlie Kirk posted this.
Signs proclaiming, both of these protesters hold up signs proclaiming gays for Gaza. They might as well hold up signs saying chickens for KFC.
Bro said this in Congress. He said this in Congress. And then he probably brought up the Holocaust like 47 times or something like that. Anyway, that's kind of diabolical. And also, he's right.
Of queers for Palestine.
What happened to a gay couple in Palestine, sir? Executed according to Islamic law. Islam doesn't endorse gayism. Islam doesn't endorse homosexuality.
I mean, these people are paid protesters, right? I've seen a lot of dumb shit.
I don't think they're paid protesters. I think these are the people that went through the school system and all the groomer, teacher, pedophiles actually managed to convince them that this is the right thing. I think that's the sad part. I'm sure some of them are paid protesters, but I think the majority of them that gather and support the current thing, you want to hear my opinion? They have a void in their heart. Either it's because they have no dad in their life, or it's because they have no God to pray to, and they need to fill that void with meaning. That meaning is chosen by the vampires in charge of manipulating them and grooming them into this. That's why they care about Palestine and not any of the other tragedies that go on around the world that are arguably and inarguably infinitely worse than what's going on in Gaza. But that's the one thing they care about. That's the one thing that they care about, man, because that's what they were told to care about. They care about specifically Gaza, the guys that started a war and lost and refused to surrender and were obliterated. Those are the guys that they decided that matters because they were manipulated into thinking that that's the only thing that matters. Not the genocide of Christians in Nigeria, not the 300,000 dead in Yemen, the 600,000 dead in Syria, the 5 million dead in the Congo, the mass starvation in Sudan. No one cares about that. They only care about the fake genocide in Gaza. It's the only thing they care about because they were told to care about that by the vampires that groomed them into thinking that way. I'm telling you, man, there is something diabolical going on out here
on the internet, but even I have trouble believing that this is not astroturfed. But going back to school teachers, we've gotten to the point where it feels like most children's spaces have been raided by idiot radicals who care more about kids growing up with the right opinions than they do about teaching them useful skills.
Completely correct. Completely and utterly correct, man. And it's truly horrifying. It's demonic shit. They prey on your young, man. They don't have young to prey on. They're too busy castrating themselves and aborting their children. They're too busy partaking in the modern Holocaust, which is 1 million abortions in America a year, done due to convenience alone. 99% are purely because of convenience. All right? That's what they're busy doing.
To the extent where, in terms of parenting, everything
Lord!
starting to become a landmine for kids.
Oh, what the mustache!
Recently, Netflix has been under fire for having a multitude of shows aimed at children as young as 2 years old that are teaching them transgender and LGBT ideology.
When you're trying to decide, think about all the things you like to do. Just be you.
Just be me.
How about you break out those moves for your two biggest fans?
Bro, that's a nightmare. That is a nightmare. All right, so you have the interracial gay couple.
Those moves.
Raising a kid.
For your two biggest fans.
And this is a boy in a tiara and a skirt. I'm telling you, it's grooming. It's so obviously grooming. It's so obviously grooming, man.
Since when did just be you mean wear a dress and act like the opposite gender? It's almost like when they say, just be you. The writers of this are specifically trying to lead very young children down a path.
No duh.
Oh wow, this meme is diabolical and related. Netflix unironically did this.
My favorite part about this is they gave the black guy the Killmonger haircut. By the way, this haircut is how you know this was made by white women.
This is what comes up when you search the company that makes Cocomelon, and trust me, nobody is shocked by these demographics.
Dude.
And let me just say this in a way so everyone can understand how corrupt this is. The founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, would often say something like, "Customers don't know what they want until I tell them what they want." This statement is arrogant, but I find it to be very accurate. People don't realize how many choices are actually made for them by somebody else.
Completely true.
Like, how do you know if you want an iPhone if you've never seen a smartphone before? Or have you walked into a store before expecting to buy nothing but ended up walking out with tons of stuff? Getting people to think that they are intuitively picking...
I mean, to be honest, this is like the classic job of a YouTuber, you know? Like, I make videos based on topics that I assume you'll want, even if it's not something that you specifically ask for. I mean, that's actually the entire job. In fact, that's basically every single job, right? Realistically, that's what it's all about.
Things without them knowing that they're actually being led to pick that thing is an essential skill to have in the higher levels of creative fields, as the audience very often doesn't desire something until it's shown to them.
Parents absolutely have a right to be annoyed as shit with this. I'm trans, and if I had a kid, they would not be fucking watching this.
Let me make this even easier to understand. They're advertising transgenderism to kids when they put stuff like...
By the way, when you have kids that are literally there, like, being manipulated constantly, it's truly a horrifying thing. Like, these are kids, they don't know what's going on, man. They don't know what's happening.
Like this in Cocomelon, which is a special form of evil because...
Yeah, this is like literally, like, dude, you have to understand the stats, okay? 41% of transgender people kill themselves, okay? That's insane. If anyone that says that they would love it if their kid was trans, they hate their kid, okay? I'm sorry. It doesn't matter how devoid of morality you are. If you say you'd be happy if your kid is trans, that means you are happy that your kid has a 60% chance of surviving only, and a 40% chance of killing themselves. All right? And everyone will say that Trump is doing a trans genocide. No. The only one doing a trans genocide are the people that call themselves trans. All right? The number one cause of death for trans people is trans people killing themselves. All right? Now, I'm not saying this as an insult because it's a tragedy. I think that transgenderism and schizophrenia are more similar than anyone might think. These are overly violent people, consistently and statistically overly violent people with obvious mental disabilities that want them to castrate themselves. And this is a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. These are words of truth. I'm sorry. It might offend, but I don't care. Look, man, I tell the truth to the people I love. I don't lie to them and affirm their mental illnesses.
Kids are very impressionable. And at least when I was younger, it's not like every boy was trying on dresses. This was a very rare thing in the 90s, so not many kids were thinking that this was a good idea on their own outside of maybe a Halloween costume as a joke. And the ones that might claim it was their own idea would often report when they got older that their mothers who wanted a daughter would put them in dresses. I mean, if you don't think that women can be degenerates, then I suggest that you watch this video by Shoe on Head. Degenerate behavior is actually quite normalized among women.
These bitches freaks out here. They display their smut open.
Bro, everyone uses this. I popularized this fucking image, okay? I'm just letting you know.
In bookstores.
That's right.
They proudly pose in front of their smut collections. They discuss their smut openly on TikTok. Thousands and thousands of women in particular have been raving about this piece of literature. What piece of literature is it, you may ask? Well, Morning Glory Milking Farm, of course. A popular romance novel about a young woman down on her luck who does what every young woman does when facing financial struggle. She starts an OnlyFans. I'm just kidding. She wouldn't degrade herself
No, of
like
course
that.
not.
She gets a job
She jerks off minotaurs.
jerking off monsters.
So I find it very strange that we have all this sexual confusion in the younger generations the minute that tons of TV shows and children's books are telling kids to cross-dress. And considering that the woke...
Yeah, that's insane. Like, dude, there is so much degeneracy, it's insane. I mean, cross-dressing, bro, you know who came up with the fact that that shit's fucking weird? The Bible. It's literally a Bible verse. Yeah, I'll find it for you. I think it's Deuteronomy 22:5 or something. Deuteronomy. Let's just type in 22:5, and if it's not there, I'll just look for it somewhere else. I just think, based off my memory, it's around there. Oh, dude. Oh, cooking. A woman must not wear men's clothing, nor a man wear women's clothing, for the Lord your God detests anyone who does this. I'm sorry, man. Thou shalt not gay.
These themselves are saying that this type of behavior leads to suicidal ideation. They are essentially admitting that they're infecting kids with mental health issues.
I hear someone's not feeling well.
Oh, not this clip.
Let's take a look at the little man.
Can I please talk to you two outside? I know that you guys are busy, but as you would see,
Yawn.
if you looked at her and not her chart, Bailey is not a boy. And by treating her like one, you are completely ignoring who she is. You're making her feel insignificant and humiliated. And that's not gonna help her feel good or safe or calm.
Wow.
So, from here on out, please recognize her for who she is.
I apologize.
So apologies. You're so right. You're so right. You're so arrogant. What a bitch. Kick her out. But anyway, you know my joke about this. My joke is, sir, how dare you call her him when clearly she is a woman? I'm so sorry. She has testicular cancer.
I bet the
I feel like they needed to do that. I feel like that would have been absolutely diabolical. Sir, we have your diagnosis. It's ma'am. Ma'am, you have testicular cancer.
Who wrote that incredibly preachy scene thought it was glorious and deserving of a standing ovation.
That was so embarrassing. You know the libs just eat that up. You know it's a bitch crying behind that.
That scene came from another Netflix show called The Babysitter's Club that aired back in 2020. Just in case you weren't aware, The Babysitter's Club was a popular book series that girls would read when I was in elementary school, just to give you an idea of the age of the target audience. And I have to say that regardless of the argument being made, you have to have zero respect for the audience's intelligence to preach to them like this. This kind of soapbox-style writing is designed for morons, and it's about as annoying as modern games giving constant...
I mean, to be honest, I think, yes, of course it's designed for morons, but I think the purpose of it is to manipulate... It's honestly just to make it culturally accepted. Because I think that the fact that people in America, in my opinion, have been feminized, all right? People have been too tolerant for too long and just too accepting of people living and let living. Just let them do their thing, and it doesn't really bother me, all right? You want to cross-dress, it doesn't affect me. You want to be gay, it doesn't affect me. You want to live your life your way, it doesn't affect me. That's been a very, very popular mentality for a lot of people. It does affect you, though. It does, because I'm not trying to lie to you. They're teaching your children. These are the people being recruited in schools, all right? I'm sorry. Tolerance is not a virtue. Intolerance is. You should not tolerate this shit whatsoever. America, try the West? Yeah, well, I'm talking about America. But yes, you're right. The entire West. The entire West. Been way too tolerant. I'm sorry. No more sitting back and accepting this retard bullshit. All right, with all due respect, you're trying to kill us. You're trying to destroy us. You're heretics. You're heathens. And with all due respect, it's not normal. It's not normal. It's not normal.
Tutorials for the dumbest stuff like, press A to jump. Did you know that jumping is how you can get over obstacles and avoid enemy attacks? Yeah, no shit. Wow. I have no idea why video games do this when the natural impulse when you first turn on a game is to press all the buttons and see what they do.
This game doesn't treat you like you're retarded. They know you're retarded because you bought the game.
Not being able to see or respect the intellectual ability of others is a trait of dumb people.
When you look at the staff of Netflix, you can start to really see, like, demons.
Well, I mean, the staff of Netflix is very tied to Obama, so no one's surprised.
Hamish Steele, this guy is a they Blue Sky user. This person, of course, was one of the, Charlie Kirk grave spitters. This is the person making kids' cartoons.
Of course.
Obviously.
I bet that most of the people who write...
Obviously, it's almost like it's a requirement. It's almost like it's a literal recruitment. They're trying to recruit these people to manipulate your children. That's the goal. The stated goal. As a giant propaganda machine. Where instead of convincing you as an adult, why not just vampirism your kids? It's literally that easy, man.
on these types of shows would have no problem with what he said about Charlie Kirk. This guy was a writer on that other Netflix transgender propaganda show that people have been memeing called Dead End Paranormal Park. Anyway, to that prior point, giving children the exact answers to everything instead of fostering an environment where they can figure out the answers themselves removes their ability to critically think.
They don't want them to critically think. They want to control them. Like, if you think about it, the way the school system is designed was designed to create factory workers, right? You know, get in line, show up on time, sit behind the desk, do your thing, and then they teach you slop for the most part. Like, the fact that they don't teach you how to pay your taxes or invest your money in school is a travesty, because these are probably two of the most fundamental, important things for your adult life, and they literally don't teach them to you. They teach you random shit that is just like you have to memorize it because you have to know it, we don't care. Advanced trigonometry, like any of that's gonna be relevant. Like, bro, are you fucking kidding me? Are you actually, you think anyone is going to need to know the cosine of fucking anything in all of your life unless you're actually a mathematician? You don't, quite frankly. It's useless. It's completely useless. Now, and there's an infinite amount of examples just like this. Just like that. Infinite examples, bro. You know what? I'll be real here. I think history is obviously important. I think languages are obviously very good and stuff. But there's just so many completely useless classes. Dude, if they would teach people how to cook instead of about gender dynamics and gender pronoun shit, it would make their lives more effective. Okay? I'm sorry. It would. I would prefer, if I would have a daughter coming out of high school, that she knew how to cook than that she knew how many genders there are. And the answer would be more than 2. All right? I'll be real. Abso-fucking-lutely.
And since it's coming from Netflix, I think it's a strategy that's done on purpose. That company is so nefarious with children's content that they will throw something like this 5 seasons into a show.
The truth is, Sammy, I've fallen for you.
Yo!
I know.
Yeah, I saw this. This is Jurassic World, by the way.
I heard you earlier. I just wanted to hear you say it again because I've been wanting to hear you say that since I don't even know when.
Imagine you're a parent and you trust that there's an show for your kids about dinosaurs. You don't want to be a helicopter parent and look over their shoulder for everything they watch because that's bad for their development. So after you've already given the show your trust in season 1, several seasons later they randomly insert LGBT content into it, and now you have to have an uncomfortable conversation with your 6-year-old who's not ready for this kind of information. I mean, as a parent, I'd be pretty pissed about that.
Quite frankly, I don't think that, I really think that we need to be a lot more intolerant for what's normal and accepted in society. I think we really do. We really absolutely do. It's insane. Fuck, dude. It's a nightmare. We have to be intolerant towards this. There's no reason why kids should even hear about transgenderism, all right? Because it's gender dysphoria. It's a mental illness the same way, I guess, schizophrenia is a mental illness. And there's no reason why kids should even know it's a thing until they are of age that they would hear of schizophrenia, for example. I don't know why this needs to be accepted at all. Why? The kids shouldn't be given the option to change genders or to even consider changing genders. They shouldn't even know that's a thing. Dude, it's such a nightmare. It really is.
That, in fact, I would cancel my subscription over this. Now, if you're kind of shy about this because there's a show on Netflix that you like, then how about you just cancel for a few months? Try it out. You can always come back, and believe me, if people
pirate that shit. That's right. That's what you heard. You heard correctly. You pirate that shit. Absolutely. All right? Every time, think about all the trans characters in TV shows. Statistically, 40% of them kill themselves. Does that make you feel better? Like, pirate it. Literally. Rebel. Fucking rebel, dude. You can pirate anything.
Start canceling even for just a few months, they're going to feel it. This is grooming, and for a more classic example, you even had the Steven Universe showrunner saying they specifically waited like 50 episodes into the show to force feed in a lesbian relationship.
We kept Ruby and Sapphire hidden from the network until 2014 when we finally made Jailbreak.
This is purely grooming.
And
Nux calling for ethical pirating is wild. Again, I'm not telling anyone to do anything illegal, but I absolutely would. Yo, are you kidding me? Absolute. This is crazy. It is insane that we need to live this life. Absolutely. Hit him where it hurts, man.
As expected, we got the note that these characters cannot be in a romantic relationship. I said that they are. They sing a song about it. They're in love. The song's already been recorded. We can't take it out. We got the...
This is literally just manipulating everyone into putting your fucking gay shit in TV shows to convince children that that's a more acceptable way to live your life in society. This is crazy. It's fucking insane. It's insane. And it's your classic liberal white woman. She has so much empathy. That's right.
characters in, and from then on, every episode with Ruby and Sapphire was a big uphill battle, but it was one that I was willing to fight. I would compromise on other things, but
Look how brave she is talking about grooming children.
I would not compromise on Ruby and Sapphire.
Why does this need to be in a show for kids? I'm not even kidding with how fucked up this is.
Hey, when we're older, let's get married.
Why are these little kids in a gay relationship? Their voices haven't even dropped yet. But this is just on the Cartoon Network YouTube page now. It's clearly grooming, and people don't want this shit in children's media because it's forcing them to have conversations with their kids that they aren't old enough for. And I wouldn't be shocked if a lot of these writers are childless.
I took my grandson.
Yeah, I love this clip.
Toy Story?
Not that one, but
the new Buzz, the Lightyear.
So we watching it, and the lady, which is Kiki's mama, she had a baby with a woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie like, Papa Snoop, how she have a baby with a woman? She a woman. Oh, shit. I didn't come in for this shit. I just came to watch the goddamn movie. I'm scared to go to the movies now. Like, y'all throwing me in the middle of shit that I don't have an answer for.
Right. It's inappropriate. 5-year-olds don't need to know
Obviously.
how babies are made, nor do they need to understand every single nuance of adult relationships. So why is this stuff in...
I'll go an even step further. I'll go a step further. The number one healthiest form of raising children is by having a heterosexual relationship. A man and a woman married, joined together in holy matrimony, all right? Building a family that is the healthiest lifestyle for everyone. All right, forget religion for a second. It's also literally the healthiest lifestyle to raise a kid, okay? All right, as intended by God, and it actually is the best. It's the goat. It's the goat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is just the normal opinion. All right, it really is. Now, I'm not here to debate whether it's a sin or not, because that really is everyone's personal code, and that's not something that I want to have a discussion about right now specifically. But it is the best, literally the best. Physically proven, statistically, lesbian relationships are much more likely to be abusive and getting divorced and stuff like that. It is the best way to build a family and raise children, no doubt. A father figure and a mother figure, a male role model, a female role model, it builds the strongest families. It is what should be pushed in literally everything, because it'll give you the best, most fulfilled, strongest life that will be the best for you, the best for your neighbors, the best for your family, and the best for your country, without even a shadow of a doubt, okay? I say this with zero compromising, all right? We do not compromise on this. It is time-tested. It is true. There is no doubt in my mind that every single children's show, in my opinion, should only have straight couples. Children's shows should only, if they have couples, they should be straight. Because ultimately, it is what creates the strongest families, the strongest relationships that raise the children that are honestly most likely to turn out as wonderful, fulfilled people. It just really is. Also, let's not make the dads the complete moron and the mother the girl boss. Because realistically, I think the best thing that you should be doing in a children's show is inspiring children. Inspiring children to live the best possible life that they can. And if the kid ends up being gay or whatever after they go through puberty, it doesn't even matter, because this show is for children before they reach puberty. It's not like they're a gay 6-year-old. That doesn't exist. So even if you want to make that debate that it should be more inclusive and stuff, these kids aren't going to feel included in any of that. So I think 100% of children's shows should only have heterosexual relationships. And I think it's disgusting that it's so commonplace that it's not. So that's my incredibly hot take for the day. I'm sure I'm going to get canceled for being homophobic or something when I'm literally just spitting straight facts.
Kid shows. Can they even tell anyone the social harm of waiting until kids are post-puberty to discuss this stuff? No, they can't, because there isn't one. The only harm is...
They can't because they want to indoctrinate you. They literally want to indoctrinate you, bro. Like, you don't understand. They would love it if you have some kid talk about gender neutrality or some shit.
There's a decrease in stock prices for pharmaceutical companies because they won't be able to sell as many puberty blockers.
If any parents are concerned that if they do not show their kids LGBT kids cartoons, that they are somehow going to grow up to be someone who is intolerant or confused or not educated on these issues, I promise you a gay motherfucker will find a way to be gay. If your kid ultimately, their destiny is to be trans later in life and they make that informed decision and that's their life journey, I promise you they're going to get there without needing to be propagandized about it first.
But I can't stress enough to young...
Whatever. I'm not dying on the hill of removing all trans from society or some shit like that today. Because today the topic is children and grooming. And children should not even be introduced to this topic.
people how in the 90s things like this didn't exist. Yes, there were gays, but people weren't identifying as trans left and right. Certainly kids weren't. I think until after gay marriage was fully legalized in like 2015 and the LGBT activist groups ran out of a cause to fight for, I had seen maybe like one trans person in my entire life. All of this is manufactured.
I mean, because it's a social contagion. It's very obviously a social contagion. Right? You talk about people, and then people decide to start doing it because when you're going through puberty, you're all fucked up. You don't feel comfortable in your own body anyway. Like, it's insane. And also, like, again, I know this is we're getting into kind of weird territory, but there is an insane overlap between trans people and just massive gooners. All right, there is a massive overlap between like transgender people and furries. Explain that. Why would there be a correlation unless it is, for the most part, just a social contagion mental illness? And it's what it is. It really is. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy that we need to live in a society where we need to be tolerant and accepting of these people that mutilate themselves and convince your children to mutilate themselves.
And people are now picking up genders like they pick up the weird porn fetishes that you see in Turkey Tom videos.
Ooh, I like your pins. I am Nightshade. My pronouns are they, them.
Oh!
Thanks. I'm Sam. I'm she, they. Sometimes the world can be a scary place. It's hard to know who's dangerous or not. Hey.
Well, statistically, trans people have a higher rate of being dangerous than, like, not trans people. Just statistically, you know.
Okay. I know I'm safe when I'm with my friends or other non-binary people.
Are you sure you
Really? You feel safe among other non-binary people, dude? Really? That's your fucking metric? I don't know, man. I said this before, I'll say it again. The number one cause of death for trans people is trans people.
Go down that route? I feel safe when I'm around people who are just like me. Imagine if a white person said that.
As you guys know, I'm Irish, so it's cool to be here. I am not from here, obviously, but it's really cool to come somewhere and like everybody looks exactly like you.
Damn, that sounded super racist.
Wow.
Here, I'll fix it by having a black person say it.
Coming to Ghana has been great. It's the first time in my life that I'm not black. Here it's like everybody's black, so you don't even think about being black. It's coming to
Wow, it's so easy. Wow, it's so easy, guys. As long as you're not white, that's okay. But if you are white, you have to be unhappy with your skin color.
Where you're the majority is very empowering.
Gee, that was a close one. Now let's go back to telling white people that they're evil for being born the wrong skin color.
Hi everybody, I'm at the Bastard barbecue right now. All my friends are in there. I don't really understand. So you're not letting me in because of my hair? Correct.
Yeah,
So-
if it doesn't align with a culture that...
Jared, they won't, I'm filming right now, but they won't let me in because I have dreadlocks. They won't let me in because I have dreadlocks, and they're trying to show me that.
To them that we have a policy.
A cultural appropriation policy. What a fucking scam, dude.
5 hours to get here.
Also, like, even that language, I don't want used in the venue as
Oh my
well. So
gosh.
it's like,
Oh man, pulling out the R word? That's messed up. But allow me to use this clip to point out that again, all of this outrage is manufactured by political radicals. Even people who are slightly right of Karl Marx don't like it. This is like a gay music festival or whatever with a sign that ironically says they have a zero tolerance policy for all forms of bigotry and oppressive behavior. So this dreadlock lady is probably on the left if she's going to an event like this.
Well, obviously.
Okay, well then I would like my money back in cash.
Probably on the left. Meanwhile, she has a septum piercing and she's covered in tattoos. Probably on the left.
I'd rather go in and not have to make myself look like a total retard because I've been camping for like...
You're also using the R word on this and trying to look good.
Oh my god, you're using the R word?
That's also a thing where
I'm allowed to call myself whatever I want.
The word retard is just not okay in the world and in this venue.
Oh man, she R-worded again. What's wrong with her? Wait, what are the rules on this? Because I know if it was the N-word...
It must suck to live like this. I would hate it if my kids ended up like that girl. With a dad-shaped hole in her heart and a God-shaped hole in her soul.
Word they were talking about, they wouldn't say the full word. They would just say the N-word. So why are they saying retard and not the R-word if it's so offensive?
What if like somebody comes with braids in their hair?
If that is not with their culture, if they are appropriating
What
it.
does with their culture mean? Like, what are we even talking about? Like, this is insane. This is crazy. It's like, sorry, you're white and you're eating Indian food, so that's cultural appropriation. My grandma said that Cleopatra was black. Did you know that America was built by Muslims?
Culture, they will be asked to leave.
I'm native as well. It's totally unfair and I'm being discriminated
So
against.
the Birdhouse is committed to creating an anti-racist environment. This was made.
Dude, I love super woke people getting out woked. I absolutely love it. It's amazing. I love it, dude.
Very carefully with the black community in our space.
That's hilarious because black girls appropriate white women's hair all the time.
But it's okay because they're black. You don't understand how it works. It's white person bad. That's the neo-Marxist philosophy. That's what it's all about. It's all about the oppressor class and the oppressed class. The oppressor class is always the bad guy, and the oppressed class is always the good guy.
Seems like a very privileged and racist position to say that a white person can't do a thing that you're allowed to do because they were born the wrong skin color.
Well, what do you mean? Of course, they are racist. Obviously, they're racist. Wokeism is racism. Absolutely, 100%.
Say, literally this August, a white person said the N-word in front of me.
Nobody cares.
Oh my God, so oppressed.
Black people say that word constantly. You can't be that offended by it. The only reason you're pretending to care is because you want to use it as a tool to unfairly...
It's a power tool. That's literally the entire strategy. Also, that person that said the N-word in front of her, it was me.
To gain power by playing the victim, or you want to use it to spread racial hatred of white people. I mean, how have these people skated by all these years without being called racist when they are very obviously extremely racist? Like more racist than the average person. As for the white people from the Queer Music Festival, wait, isn't queer a slur? It definitely used to be a slur, so I don't see how they can be mad about that girl using the R word. But these white people hate other white people so much that they have no idea of the
they have to prove it. They have to prove how anti-white they are by being racist against white people.
Amounts of money that black women spend straightening their hair or buying wigs to try and make it look like a white girl's hair.
If you're offended by minorities talking about their lived experiences, you're the problem. If you're offended by women saying they're afraid of men, you're the problem.
Someone needs to show...
Wow, the left can't meme. No, actually, I'm not afraid of any of those things. I just think you're pathetic and you're losers and you've missed the boat. And I don't care if you cancel me.
This chick crime statistics and then ask her which men women are afraid of. Sorry, I'm not sorry. All these complainers need to get with the program or shut the fuck up. No one cares about your lived experiences or how it's okay for you to be a degenerate criminal who deserves reparations for shit that you didn't live through. In fact, I might say that some of these people's lived experiences are going to become quite uncomfortable when we start giving judges capital punishment for releasing people who have committed felonies in a 10-year period out into polite society. And also, in my opinion, things are about to become real uncomfortable for the educators who have been pushing sexual deviancy onto children.
I agree.
I'm a mom of 2.
Dude, we need to get these people in jail, dude. That's some grooming shit. It really is. That's insane. It's insane. Netflix is just Epstein's Island online. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? We gotta get these people out of society. For real, for real.
In Fairfax County. This is my oldest, and my husband and I have a difficult decision to make this fall as he is approaching preschool age, and we are faced with the decision of whether or not we are going to put our child in public school system where Fairfax County has decided to move forward with instituting gender studies in elementary school.
Yeah, throw them all in jail.
Like, this is crazy. It's like these poor people. Like, they claim that, oh, what do you mean? Why are you complaining? You send your kids to public school. Let's just send your kids to public school. It's free. What's the problem? And, you don't want to do that because the teacher might be a pedophile. Like, it's insane.
This is not pedophilia, but it's certainly adjacent. And unnecessarily teaching prepubescent kids sexual topics in school outside of basic biology should be a crime that lands you prison time or worse. There are not nearly enough teachers and school board members going to jail for this.
I agree.
Despite having done...
Dude, getting them fired, that's a good first step, but it's not enough. It's not enough. It's absolutely not enough.
A study group, a focus group in the community to see if parents even wanted this. And when parents said no, the board voted 16-0 and said we're moving forward anyways. This shows clearly that they see parents not as partners.
Of course they don't. Of course they don't see parents as partners. Isn't it? They're literally groomers. They're literally groomers. They don't care what parents want. They have an agenda. They want to manipulate your children. They want your children to castrate themselves. That's the ideal world. If a teacher could get one of your kids to castrate themselves, bro, that teacher won the fucking bingo night at Woke Olympics. Are you crazy? This is psycho shit. It really is. And it's so tiring to make believe it's not.
As an obstacle for their agenda.
More evidence that this entire school board should be arrested. You don't think these types of people should be in prison? Or worse? Look at this.
So here's what I'm asking you. You have a hard time hearing this from me, but this is for 10 years old and up, and this bill was passed for 5-year-olds. And you have a hard time me sitting here telling you the words anal sex, masturbation. That's hard for you, or the time's up? Because the time's not really up. I don't believe you, Mr. Wiley, that my time is up.
Approved for 5-year-olds. The fact that there is no sentencing for this stuff is ridiculous. More and more we hear stories like this next one because these sick fucks have been allowed to get away with it.
In early May of 2021, my wife and I were asked by our daughter if she could attend Jenna Reap's after-school anime club at Wellington Middle School. Knowing there's a lot of inappropriate anime, we reluctantly gave our permission, trusting to provide a safe, age-appropriate environment for our child.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Right.
I love Japan, but anime has a lot of stuff in it that's inappropriate for middle schoolers.
True.
There's a reason why Toonami and 4Kids back in the 90s used to edit anime like crazy. Anyway, so after going to this anime club for middle schoolers, this guy's 12-year-old daughter tries to end her life. Up next is the conversation that follows him bringing this up.
Not a single employee reached out to us to understand what in the P environment may have contributed to her decision to end her life. It wasn't until May of this year when Wellington Middle School made the news that we had a much better understanding of what had happened and realized that our experience was not an isolated incident.
What?
Anime Club was actually a club about gender and sex, and when we asked our daughter if she was ever told to lie to us about it, she said she was told that students didn't have to talk to anyone about what was being said in that room, and if parents asked, students didn't need to tell them. And it felt like a slap in the face to me to listen to Brian Kingsley and Kelby Benedict, the principal, through email and in person and video, that they fully support and encourage these organizations that they know.
A parent's duty is to raise their child, all right? It says it in the Bible, you know, that you're supposed to sharpen the minds of your children and raise your children. It is a fundamental core tenet of humanity. You have to work to make a living. You can't raise your children properly because, well, we're living now in a post-feminized society where you need 2 incomes, so both parents need to work, so someone needs to teach your kids. So you send your kids to school because, well, you both need to work, obviously, because you need two incomes to survive. So you send them to school, trusting these people to raise your children properly. And these children, and these people will literally manipulate them and try to steal them from their parents. They will steal them from their parents and they will destroy them. They will destroy their lives. It's unreal. It is unreal. I can't imagine this. This is the scariest thing possible. This is the scariest thing possible, man. Imagine just being normal parents trying to raise your kid to have a normal life. You send your kid to school and you hear your kid wants to castrate themselves and kill themselves because they were taught that way by the teachers, and they were told to lie to the parents because the teachers feel like they know better than the parents, and they literally want to steal these children from them, and they get away with it, and they get no punishment for it. They usually don't even get fired for it. This is the most evil thing possible. The most evil thing imaginable. Stealing someone's children. Because that's what's happening. It really is. Modern day Grimm's fairy tale. It's so real, man.
Bring with them a highly elevated suicide rate. When we met with Kelby, he told us, I am proud of the community that we've created in Wellington. A community that led to my daughter's decision to try and end her life. And when we shared our experience with Kelby, he told us that kids being invited to art club and anime club were just rumors, and then suggested our daughter was lying with regards to what Jenna Reap had told her about talking to parents.
Hey kids, let's talk about sexual topics. Make sure that you don't tell your parents what we're saying. It's our little secrets.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Schools should be an extension of the parents, right? They are an agent of the parents because the parents can't teach the kids properly due to time constraints or work or whatever. That's the point of schools. That's what schools were designed to do. That's not what they're doing. It's an actual fucking vampire cult. A body mutilation cult. It really is. And it's insane. It's insane that this has become the school system, to the point you have people cheering the assassination of people, literally cheering the assassination of people that they don't like, calling half the country fascists, telling people that there's infinite genders and that it's actually better. No, this is crazy.
You see what I mean by pedo adjacent?
That's why, and I so often hear people saying, like, why would you want your kid to go to a private Christian school or a private Jewish school? Like, why? Well, the answer's actually pretty fucking simple, isn't it?
I mean, there are like a million stories.
You don't have like these government tendrils there for the most part. Obviously, you have some crazy shit that happens in any school, but Nah, this is insane. This is some really pedo adjacent shit, and it's protected by the institutions, man.
Stuff like this, it literally happens all the time, and these people need to start getting arrested for doing this. Like, why did this next teacher only get fired?
We are gonna name this trans student Millie. Millie's parents have found out that Millie is going by Millie at school.
Bro, there is no such thing. There's no such thing as a trans student. It's not a real thing. Sorry, you're delusional. You should be in jail because you convinced this kid to do something that increases this kid's chance of killing themselves by 1,000 times. There's a 40% chance this kid will kill themselves because of you. This is attempted murder.
Millie's parents are homophobic and transphobic, and so they don't like that.
You mean they're normal?
Them being homophobic and transphobic does not make Millie not Millie. They are
Well, why do you know better than the parents of the kids? Why do you know better than the parents of the children? The children want to raise their kids, and you feel like you have a different ideology. Okay, so you have your ideology, they have theirs. Not only do you think yours is correct in every possible way, but you are willing to risk this child's life to spite the parents.
Torturing Millie at home because they don't like this.
All right, so call Child Protective Services. Call Child Protective Services if you really think there's a problem.
At this point, I'm going to let you know that the Department of Education for my state does not force people to call trans kids by their chosen names, but it does have it heavily recommended. I am very confused when the admin, Larry, sends out an email to
Another white woman teacher. It's where we're at, of course.
all of the staff that have Millie. The email says that henceforth they are only to be called Bob by all the teachers, and if they hear them saying anything to any of the other students, they need to correct them. And so when Millie came in that day, I took Millie aside and I was like, hey, I got an email today that said that you want to go by Bob now. Is that true? And Millie just starts sobbing. Because no, Millie does not want to go by Bob now. Bob is the dead.
Millie shouldn't even know, or Bob or whatever, shouldn't even know that transgender is a thing. Sorry. They shouldn't know this is even real. And if they didn't know that transgenderism was an option, then Bob would not be crying.
Millie is still Millie and wants to be called Millie, but the parents have contacted the school, and Larry decided that this was the best course of action. Yes, these events did 100% lead to me not being hired again at the end of the year.
You should be in jail. Forget being hired. You were trying to convince a kid that to kill themselves. I think this is actual grooming, attempted murder. Fired isn't enough. It's a start, but it's not enough.
Worth it.
Yeah, going around and gender-confusing kids should be a crime.
I agree.
A light punishment for doing this secretly and against the wishes of the parents would be losing her job and losing her teaching license. Because remember what this leads to. For now, it's just a name change, but in a few years, it's medical and surgical intervention, which are decisions that lead to permanent outcomes that these kids may not want when they
an obvious increased suicide rate. Like 40% is an insane number. It's one of the craziest numbers of all time. And some are saying that it's even higher now. I don't know. But like, do you have to understand the insanity that every trans person you meet, there is a coin toss that they'll kill themselves. That's fucking insane. It's insane. You're trying to convince kids to do that? To go down that path?
25.
Aside from the fact that it's completely delusional because you can't fucking change genders, all right? So aside from the fact that it's a mental illness and completely delusional, also you're convincing them to kill themselves.
Yet parents and doctors and school employees are making this decision for kids at like 13. Actually, that's not entirely accurate because oftentimes schools are gatewaying kids into this against parental consent or knowledge. And a lot of this comes from stupid ideology that some people have, that kids are just like tiny adults. And instead of being a stern parent and guiding them away from bad decisions that have negative consequences that they are too young to understand, every little whim should be listened to.
What age do you think most trans kids determine that they're trans?
Violet told us when she was 1.5. She's been telling us since she could speak.
You've got to be.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Kidding me. These parents are insane.
1.5-year-old and you're playing this transgender game? I put it into Grok just in case it changed. What's the suicide rate for trans people? Obviously, they give me a lot of things. Apparently, dude, I'm looking at these numbers and I'm like actually losing my mind. Look how insane this is. Rates have trended upwards since 2000. The 41% statistic is widely cited, but it's specific to only this. Newer data hovers around 40 instead. Wow, newer data is showing 40% instead of 41%. That's crazy, dude.
What, he picked up a Barbie doll and now you decided that he needs cross-hormone therapy?
It's always, why is it always a liberal white woman? Why is it always a liberal white woman? I mean, I know the answer. I'm asking you because I'm tricking you, really. In reality, I'm tricking you. I want you to think for yourself. But you know why it's always a liberal white woman? It's because they were empowered to use their forces of empathy for complete and utter bullshit with zero direction in their life whatsoever, because they don't need to listen to anybody. They don't need to listen to God. They don't need to listen to a husband. They don't need to listen to anybody. They just need to use their unfettered, brilliant empathy towards whatever random bullshit they're told to care about.
If you like girl things, it means that you're actually a girl. That's right. So if you like gardening, you're a girl. If you like cooking, you're a girl. Why is it that every single, like, if gender is such a massive spectrum, then why is every kid that shows an interest in something that's feminine automatically trans? I like Sailor Moon. Does that make me a girl? Yeah, it is. Go to your go talk to your doctor tomorrow, and you should start your transition immediately.
At this point, if the CPS wasn't so great at putting kids in situations that are worse than the ones they're being rescued from, then I would say that legal action should be taken against these parents for doing this to their 1-year-old. So I don't think we can do anything on that front outside of maybe shaming them for doing this, but I do believe that we can make the lives of other people.
I think we need to make sure it's not accepted in society. Again, I really think this is a social contagion. The reason why people are doing like the whole trans shtick is because it became not only accepted in society, that it's a normal thing, in my opinion, because billionaires were trying to fund shit like this, who knows what, but that's why you have like Bill Nye the Science Guy telling you about infinite genders, right? So I don't think, so one, it needs to become not normalized and completely shunned. It needs to be treated like a mental illness, which is what it is, realistically. That is one thing that absolutely needs to be done. Also, it needs to be taken out of everything. It needs to be taken out of everything. It needs to be taken out of schools. It needs to be taken out of shows. It shouldn't be considered just the normal way of life. It's not.
Very uncomfortable for promoting this stuff. In recent months, my mind has changed on this very much. There's no talking to these people or reasoning with them or compromising. Their lives just need to be ruined until they step in line.
There is no unity with people who scream
Straight
at children
facts.
over their parents' politics. There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination.
We tried unity.
He's right. He's right. JD Just Dance Vance 48. He's completely correct. He is completely correct. He is right. And you can't unify with them because, to be honest, there was someone that was trying to unify with them. There was someone that tried so hard to reach over the aisle and have these conversations with these people and did their absolute best. They killed that person. They killed the negotiator. They shot him in the neck. So yeah, no unity with demons. Demons need to be destroyed. This ideology needs to be eradicated. Obviously, people are going to manipulate this into saying that I want trans people to get eradicated. Obviously not. That's what mental asylums are for. What are you talking about? And it's incredibly obvious that we need to take care and do our best and pray for these people because they are fucking crazy. They're crazy people. No one with a suicide rate of 40% is a normal person.
We've been trying open debate and honest discussion with these people since, like, what, 2016? 2014?
There's no debating your way out of this. It's the devil's ideology. It really is. This idea of castrating yourself, it is so removed from anything normal. It really is. Let me find there's a Bible verse for that one, too, actually. Let me find it. Let me just pull this up. Deuteronomy 23:1. Let me open that up. Deuteronomy 23:1. No one who has been emasculated by crushing or cutting may enter the assembly of the Lord. All right? Dude, bro. The New Living Translation. If a man's testicles are crushed, penis is cut off, he may not be admitted in the assembly of the Lord. Like, dude, you don't understand. You don't understand, bro. It's so basic and obvious.
Not only have they mislabeled us as fat.
Crushing or cutting, I don't get it. Crushing the testicles or cutting the penis off. That's what it's referring to. Castrating yourself. If someone's castrated, if someone castrates themselves, they should not be allowed in the assembly of the Lord. That's what it means. It's actually the devil's ideology. It really is.
Fascist Nazis, but they have ritually tried to assassinate political figures on our side, and when they succeeded, they all laughed and said, why not more? Oh, and it's not just Republicans like Charlie Kirk that they did this to. Remember, a Democrat, Melissa Hortman, was murdered by a radical leftist conveniently after she voted against healthcare for illegals.
True.
Make no mistake, these radicals will kill people on the left too for not being left enough. Now, going back to trans kids, I've shown this clip in 2 different videos already, but I think it's so disgusting that it bears repeating considering that a month ago, the world changed.
Dr. Olson had a decision.
Oh, I hate this clip.
You are in the perfect place
I hate
to start
this.
on blockers.
And she promises to begin giving her estrogen, female hormones,
Liberal white woman without a husband every single time. It's every single time, man.
in 2 years.
Around 13. That's what I think. You're not going to
Yeah, send this doctor to jail.
wait until 16 to start. You know that, okay?
Now, in the past, I might have said, isn't this so awful? We should talk to these people and show them the error of their ways. I'm
Jail.
not on that level anymore. This doctor should get life in prison, or
Agreed.
worse.
Agreed.
I see very little difference between sterilizing 13-year-olds and child molestation. And make no mistake.
Again, we're not doing a tier list for what's worse, but I think sterilizing a 13-year-old might be worse. Like, it's not just mental trauma for life, it's also literally castrating them. I see people saying pretty close. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's worse. They're both nightmares. They both should get instant jail for life, without even a shadow of a doubt.
She very likely has given these recommendations to many kids. So let's do it. Let's change the laws and make it happen. People need to be criminally punished for medically transitioning kids. Why are we letting radical activists or teachers or psychologists or doctors tell parents that their kids will die if they don't go on HRT? That's not how this works, and if they want to say that it works like that, then allow me to remind everyone that they have no evidence that lack of gender-affirming care leads to suicidal ideation.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but for transgender people that do transition versus transgender people that don't transition, the suicide rate is 40% for both of them. Because transitioning doesn't help. You know why? Because they have a mental illness. Because they're mentally ill. And their mental illness comes with a 40% suicide rate, whether they fucking castrated themselves or they didn't. And it's really, really sad.
Look through data that they provided to argue their points in many different videos like this one, and to quickly summarize, their proof that not being affirmed leads to more suicide attempts is weak because there are other cofactors like homelessness and drug abuse that are far more prominent, and they've also failed to prove that gender-affirming care is an effective treatment, because they don't test it against...
Also, the hormones cause depression as one of the major side effects. So yeah, let's give someone with a 40% chance of suicide depression. Let's see if that makes it better.
Other therapies. And the one time I was provided a study where they did, gender-affirming care was shown to have no effect. Now, personally, I think adults can do whatever they want. You know, who am I to stop an adult who hires a plastic surgeon to turn themselves into an elf?
Think before you sleep. I will challenge you on this. I used to think that way. I used to think that way as well. That, you know, live and let live. If adult wants to do it, let the adults do whatever they want. I used to think that way. All right, I used to think, you know, it's consenting adults. Who cares what happens? I don't think that way anymore. I really don't. While I think that if someone does it to a child, they should get life in prison, obviously. I think it should not be accepted in society when adults do it either, to be honest. I think it should still be looked at as kind of crazy, like as a mental illness. You give an inch, they take a mile. Because look, dude, who are the teachers? Who's teaching these kids? Who's teaching these kids? Like, come on, dude. Who's teaching these kids? And I'm not talking about elf ears. I don't care about aesthetics. Obviously, I don't care about any of that. Like, if you want to get plastic surgery to give yourself elf ears, that's fine. But if you want to get plastic surgery, so now that you have usually terrible plastic surgery, so now you could walk into women's bathrooms, no, I don't think that should even be remotely acceptable. No, it shouldn't, actually. It should be shunned. It should be. Cross-dressing is cringe as fuck. And it should be shamed. It absolutely should be. But it's just someone who's doing it to themselves. Who cares? No, it's bad. It's immoral, wrong, and rot on society. It is. Okay? So, listen. Again, I don't want anything bad to happen to any of these people, obviously. But it is not good for society. Absolutely not. I think someone cross-dressing in public, it should be considered public indecency.
But outside of that, how about the people who throw this stuff at kids spend some time in prison? The evidence that these extremely invasive therapies improve the mental health of children or maintain any mental health benefit long-term is basically non-existent. And keep in mind, they have spent the past 10 years censoring and bullying and taking the jobs of anyone who says, "Where's the data?" or tries to do honest research. So how about people start going to jail for doing this to kids? How about you at least lose your teaching license for making a secret anime club to teach gender ideology to middle schoolers behind their parents' back? How about these school boards who are putting inappropriate sexual material in front of elementary school kids against their parents' wishes? Get put in handcuffs.
I don't care about parents' wishes. It's not even about the parents' wishes. I think they should go in handcuffs regardless, objectively. It's like saying that, well, the parents didn't condemn, molesting their kid. No, it doesn't actually matter. I think it's an inherently criminal act, and it has nothing to do with the parents' wishes. I think it's grooming, and the groomer goes to jail, regardless if the parents are cool with the grooming or not.
I don't think people are thinking downstream far enough. People should be more mad about this.
I agree. I would go as far as to say that even Think Before You Sleep, who I think is unfathomably based, for the record, in case you are unaware, I think even you aren't going far enough. Even you're not going downstream enough. Because saying, I don't care what two consenting adults do in themselves, or saying, I don't really care what an adult does to themselves, that also goes downstream. That is also part of the problem, for sure. Absolutely. Could someone kill themselves legally? Do you think legally someone should be able to kill themselves? If you see someone trying to kill themselves, do you have the ability to stop them legally? Obviously, yes. Obviously, you should try to stop someone from killing themselves. But why? Why? It's someone doing something to themselves. They're just consenting, bro. It's just a guy consenting to doing something to themselves. It's not your business. But of course you're not, you try to your best to stop them from killing themselves. Obviously. So now that we've come to the conclusion that pure libertarianism is cringe as fuck, and you would do your best to stop someone from killing themselves, we can recognize that just because they're an adult that wants to do what they want to do does not actually give them a free pass because they consented to do what they want to do. Obviously, there's a line somewhere, and I think that line definitely can be drawn when it comes to public indecency, like people walking out cross-dressing, for example. That's my opinion. They didn't violate me personally. I don't care. I don't care. Goes downstream.
Let's get back to this.
I would not if they're an adult. I would. If I saw someone trying to kill themselves, I would try to stop them. And you know what? That's even accepted in society. How many superhero movies are made with someone on top of a roof trying to kill themselves and Superman catches him before he falls? Because the reality of the matter is, everyone is more than happy to draw that line for something like that, which everyone can agree, at least so far, you know, killing somebody is bad. Death is bad, right? So most people can come to that conclusion themselves. Death is bad, so we should be able to stop them. Yeah, well, you know what I think is bad? Castrating yourself. I think castrating yourself is bad too. And honestly, I don't think that these surgeries should be performed even on an adult that wants it to be done to themselves. I don't think it should be an accepted thing in society that it's done, to be honest, in my opinion, because I think it does go downstream from there.
Chick for a second.
If you're offended by women saying they're afraid of men, you're the problem.
Right, and why would you have to be afraid of men? Well, it's no secret that mental health issues cause criminality. And things like high rates of single motherhood or giving children life-altering surgeries at 13 have a really bad habit of giving people the kind of mental health issues that turn them into criminals. There's a reason why a number of these mass shooters are trans.
I mean, look at this guy. This guy over here is a trans person that shot up a Catholic church, killed 2 kids. Bro, this is the slippery slope. Just let me do what I want myself, bro. It's not affecting anybody else. And then you go all the way downstream and you have these people screaming, the demons are telling me to murder Christians. Do you understand? Do you understand how far we've fallen? This is the downstream. Oh, it's just a guy doing what he wants.
Personally, I would like to live in a space where I'm not constantly worried that I'll be robbed or stabbed. You do know that there are other societies that don't have to deal with these types of problems, right?
True.
I would just like to further emphasize a point that I've already made in a prior video, because I went on a second trip to Japan after just going a month prior. And like I said before, it is uncanny to be able to just relax in public when you're out at night. It is uncanny to be able to walk away from your luggage that contains thousands of dollars of electronics and turn your back on it to look at a subway map because you know that no one's going to steal it. What do they call that?
Well, they don't have that suicidal empathy problem.
I trust society. Japan is also notorious for being clean despite having no trash cans anywhere. I mean, the trash can situation there is ridiculous. They hide the trash cans from you. But despite that, the cities are still super clean. In fact, even the degenerates who litter have the courtesy to hide their empty cans in bushes, or line them up on windowsills, or even organize their litter in public walkways when a windowsill or a bush isn't available.
I mean, there's a suicide problem in Japan too, but that's a whole different type of suicide problem.
That is. I'll go even further because this blew my mind. I've been listening to the Steve Jobs biography, so I wanted to go into an Apple store while I was in Japan because there's talk about the design of the Apple stores in the book. When my friends and I got there, we noticed that not only do you have, as far as I saw, full access to all the features on the iPhones, but also none of the phones were tethered to the desk.
Wow.
You can just pick the phone up and walk around with it. They can do that in Japan because no one steals. Or at least theft is rare enough that Apple in Japan feels comfortable treating their customers like human beings and not criminals. Why isn't America like that? We don't have to live in filthy cities or filthy communities that are full of criminals. There are other places in the world that have figured this out, and we can too. Though the sad part for Japan is that this is changing a bit. Here's a video that Oriental Pearl just released.
Graffiti all over the wall.
And you wonder why they elected a right-wing anti-immigration lady, huh?
Somebody illegally dumped their household trash here. This has been here for weeks. There's even graffiti on the abandoned house. This isn't London, it's not New York. This is actually Tokyo, Japan.
Notice how none of the graffiti's in Japanese.
And then coming over here, every pole, everything, every little box, vending machines have graffiti on it.
Free Gaza. Yeah, the most insufferable people are everywhere. It's crazy.
This was covered up.
More free Palestine retards, of course. Like I've said before, I'm all for peace in the Middle East, but when you start engaging in terrorist acts or vandalism, I get a lot less accepting and a lot less sympathetic towards foreigners, especially when it's foreigners who screwed up their country and have come to ruin yours.
But it's... Oh, blue retard! Hold up. Whoa. He's included. There's a blue retard in the video. Oh my god. I just have a question for you. Why is it that 85% of immigrants around the world are Muslim, but none of them are immigrating to Muslim countries when there's 56 Muslim countries? Turns out the people that are being invited into Japan are actually not super grateful. And thank God for Japan, they have a secret weapon to combat this. Racism.
Unfortunately,
out of every clip, why would he pick that clip? Out of any clip he could have picked from my videos, man, that's the stuff. You've got to be kidding me. You could have picked any clip. Any clip. That's the one he... All right, whatever.
Mass immigration isn't the only issue that's hurting Japan, as global events of the 2020s have caused...
Also true, though. I wasn't wrong. I'm just saying, I wasn't wrong.
Caused the culture to degrade a bit.
The graffiti just seems to be getting worse. I've seen this over the last few years, especially around Corona, after Corona. Right after the pandemic, a lot of runaways from all across the country, even really young kids, middle school and high school age, came and gathered here at Toyoko Hiroba. So there were the Toyoko kids, the runaways from Japan, all across the country that came to Shinjuku. They'd stay in the manga cafes, they'd work, not legal jobs during the daytime. And the same goes for this Okubo Byoin right here behind me. This was insane, and I had never seen anything like this in Japan before. Not only the professional ladies of the night standing out here, but also the amateurs. But you don't see them so much anymore because it became so famous in Japan that the police had to get involved and put a stop to it.
Well, great. It sounds like another bullying success story. Outside of that, yeah, a lot of people are hurting because of what was done during COVID. It's almost like worldwide lockdowns were done to purposefully throw people into poverty and increase crime. Now, as far as I'm aware, this kind of stuff in Japan is isolated to areas of Tokyo like Shibuya, Shinjuku, and a part of Shinjuku called Kabukicho. I don't think it's like a massive countrywide thing. Certainly Kyoto is very clean. However, there was some drama around this video as Chris from abroad in Japan went onto Facebook. Who the hell still uses Facebook?
Oh my god, Facebook.
Chris went onto Facebook to say that Oriental Pearl was just drama farming, and these areas are actually fine. Personally, I've been to the areas that were mentioned twice in the past 2 months, and I have to say that there is a noticeable difference between them and other parts of Tokyo that are much safer. I mean, a friend and I definitely walked down an alleyway in Shinjuku on accident that we immediately wanted to leave. Not to mention that I've been told unprompted by multiple Japanese teachers during lessons to be careful in these areas, especially at night.
So in this case, I don't think Oriental Pearl is exaggerating or sensationalist. Seeing that much graffiti in Japan, it's not usual.
So that corner is actually here. It's actually getting worse 2023 versus now. So if her point is like, oh yeah, Japan's getting more graffitis everywhere and trash everywhere. Yeah, I didn't know about this myself.
Damn.
It seems like she's actually true.
I do think that this is a problem, at least in those areas, and just because an area was worse before doesn't mean that it can't still be improved. Along with that, if you ignore it, then it will get worse and spread to other places. So personally, I think a less tolerant attitude towards crime, instead of saying, come on.
Tolerance isn't a virtue. Intolerance is.
Come on, guys, it's not that bad, is more appropriate. As for the West, I'm tired of it. I'm fatigued. I'm tired of all the crime. We are way too tolerant of criminals. So how about we start putting up boundaries? How about we stop putting up with all this bad behavior? Because the more that we allow this stuff to continue...
Give a finger, they want a hand. Absolutely, absolutely. This tolerance shit is cringe as fuck, dude. Absolutely.
The more it will morph us into bad people. Now, this next thing is about relationships, but I think it heavily applies.
I cannot tell you how much bitterness and resentment you will build up as a man if you do everything for your woman and you get nothing in return. And guys, I'm not gonna lie, it will turn you into a monster. You can be the best man on earth, but if you have an ungrateful partner, it will turn you into a fucking monster, bro.
He's right. If you get intimately involved with bad people, they will turn you into a monster long before you get anywhere close to fixing them. Some people
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, as they say. No, I'm a very lucky man. I'm a very lucky man. I do everything for my woman, and I'll be real. My woman does everything for me. We are thank God. You know, honestly, I'm so lucky, and I thank God every single day that I found someone that I'm more than happy to give my everything to, and she gives her everything to me, which is absolutely wonderful. And that's where it's at, and that's what you need in a relationship. A lot of people say you need a relationship that's 50-50. They're wrong. You don't need a relationship that's 50-50. You need a relationship that's 100-100. All right? The 50-50 is bullshit. Nope. 100-100. That's what you need in a relationship. Absolutely. And I'll be real here. If you give your 100 and she's only willing to give 50, but you give your 100, her 50 will increase. It'll become 60 and 70 and 80, and it'll become 100, hopefully, in time as well. If she's willing and you're going the extra mile, she'll go the extra mile. If you treat her like a queen, she will treat you like a king. This isn't a flex. This is straight facts. And it's awesome.
Cannot be reformed, and the ones who can be reformed will only make changes when they're socially ostracized or experience extremely negative consequences. So if you're suffering because you're around bad people, then know that you don't have to live like this.
Completely true.
You don't have to be in a relationship with a crazy person.
Completely true. You do not need to live next to bad people and be friends with bad people. You don't need to do that. Nope.
And we don't have to live in a society where people call us racist as they try to turn our kids into sexual deviants who hate their parents. And it's not that hard. If you want to send these people into a spiral, then just tell them that there are only two genders. But if someone keeps trying to ruin your life, stop talking to them. The more you put up with them...
I completely agree, man. Obviously, he's completely right. I love Think Furiously. He makes such good videos. No, and he's also correct. I don't know, man. I don't know. Look, I'm more than happy to have, like, you know, superficial friendships and stuff, like, with people in general. But for the most part, when it comes to the people that really matter, there's only a few of them. You only need a few, all right? I'll be real. You don't need more than 5 true friends in your life that you will trust implicitly 100%. You don't need more than 5 people like that in your entire life. You should not just be out there willing to infinitely give people that, quite frankly, will destroy you in return. And that's why a lot of these, like, you know, streamers and streamer relationships are so unbelievably cringe. They really suck, you know?
The more you'll degrade yourself. If someone commits a horrendous crime, then make sure they go to jail. And last, don't be appeased by bullshit. Bullshit like good old politicians creating cashless bail reform because Irina Zarutska got stabbed on a train.
True.
I mean, sure, that's all well and good, and this AI summary seems to show some things that I like, but that's not what we asked for. I could have sworn what people requested was life imprisonment or capital punishment to the activist judges who keep...
Completely true. Completely true. The judges, the activists, the teachers, the ones that are manipulating and grooming, they need punishment too.
Releasing these career violent criminals into polite society. That'll stop this shit real fast. I don't want dumb cashless bail reform as a consolation prize. I want these evil activist judges who let that girl get stabbed to be dealt with. What needs to happen as a society is that we all need to assert boundaries and not back down until actual justice has been served.
I mean, that would be really nice. Realistically, the people in power don't really care that much, unfortunately. I have an opinion, and it's not an opinion that a lot of people agree with, and that's fine. You don't have to agree with me every opinion that I have. In fact, I urge you not to, all right? If you agree with everything I say, then there's a problem. You should be disagreeing with at least 10 to 20% of what I'm saying, all right? I'll be real here. I will continue to advocate for pure biblical law every single day, okay? I will, because I believe that is the most moral system we have. And America, which is founded on biblical values, is the greatest nation of all time. All right, it's the greatest nation in the history of the world. All right, it really is. So I will continue pushing to make it better. That's right, and I will do my absolute best to push that shit. Now, again, I expect vast disagreements. I do, I really do. But that's what I believe in. That's what I believe in personally. And I'll be real. If you believe that there's a God, and you believe that the scripture is the word of God, then God didn't mess up with the laws he came up with. All right, he really didn't. All right. You know, someone steals, you make sure he pays back. Double. That's what it says in the Bible. I don't know. All right. If someone wants to abort children, you'd be like, yo, why are you killing these babies? All right. I'm sorry. And I'm going to continue advocating for this because I do believe that is the ultimate moral system. I really do. And we're living in a really, really perverted world trying its absolute best to claw at the healthy best parts of Western society, Western civilization, and the basic biblical values that I think created the best nation in the world. So, not trying to be cringe or anything, but I think you're worshiping the wrong guy, leftoids. I really do.
That's what will fix these problems. Anyway, thanks for watching. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in the next video.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. That was a great video. I'm going to link it in the description, obviously. But no, I have to say, with a firm chest, with a firm chest, we have to stop normalizing this in society, okay? We have to pick up Charlie Kirk's microphone, and we have to stop normalizing in society that these people are more than happy to fucking kill you and your children over. All right, it has to be not normalized. It can't be. It can't be. It's an unsustainable system that obviously doesn't work, and they are trying to groom your kids. So anyway, that's where we're at. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys. Stay safe out there. Keep an eye on your kids. Keep an eye on your siblings, all right? Don't let the boomers that don't understand do this shit, and do not let society get away with this absolute degeneracy that has taken way too many lives. Way too many lives. Normalize making fun of this shit. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.